Hey garden friends, welcome back. And today we're going to talk about the cheap dollar store seed Coleuses that I planted in the greenhouse this last early spring, late winter, and how they did. So, as you can see, here's some trimmings from the mini that came up. I don't think any one of those seeds failed. So I have more than enough of Coleus, but what I'm loving is the variety of colors that I got it and some of the most interesting colors. I was going to show you, I think this one right here, it looks like it needs some water, but I want to get you up close so you can see the leaves on this. Aren't those speckles? Aren't they pretty? This is a sweet potato vine in here. And then look at this one, this dark chocolate color with the green rimming it. And then I also got this one came out to be a beautiful orange color and with the green trim. This one has not been as vigorous as the others that I have. And I'll show you this one back here. In fact, I'm going to trim it back right now, pinch it back so I can show you up close. I wanted to take a cutting from it. I just pinched it. I'll cut that off better. But just look at that. It's this beautiful burgundy color, and then it's got the green specks throughout the leaves. Hopefully that, green specks. Beautiful burgundy with the green specks on the leaves. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, here's what I did a couple weeks ago. Now I used pruners, or my little nippers, to cut it, but I cut it just below a leaf node. You can see that little bumps there. It had the leaves on it that I stripped off, and then I put it in a jar of water. I have another jar, I'll put that in a second. But then I'll show you just a couple weeks later. I'll take these out. And look at those. Look at the roots on those. So today we're going to pot them up in these pots. Let me get my gloves on really quick. I'm going to pot them up in these little pots I saved from things I got at the nursery, little plants, and I like this size. This is a good depth as well as width. So let me just scoop it up in here. Stick this down and make sure it's going to be deep enough to support it. See that? I think you can see. And then I can use another one just to scoop more in there. Now I could put this in a large container, but I don't have a large container back here. And what I do after I pot these up and when I display them, I have a container like this. Do you see this container? And then I set them down in it. Let me see. I have another one over there. Let me get it. So I'm showing you this one. So what I do is I set them in here. I can put them too deep. And then the back one will get a little bit taller and show, and then the front one is visible, but you don't see the pot. And I'll water from the bottom in these. And you just be careful not to overdo it. You don't want to drown them or rot the roots, but they will do beautifully in this. Now this one, these were just plain galvanized metal that I got at Home Depot. I don't know if they carry them anymore. I got these quite a few years ago. And then I just spray painted them white with a gloss white. And then on this one, you'll notice it's kind of chipped, but it still shows you what I did. I just went around the top edge with the black, and I want them to look like granite ware. Is it granite ware? Enamel ware? Anyways, and I just loved the look, the old-fashioned look. And I had these in my house to put pots in so that water didn't hurt the surface that they were sitting on. This has been out in the weather quite a bit, so it's starting to chip, whatever, but I can sand that off and repaint it and make it beautiful again. So my sweet potato vines, they're starting to root too, but I'm going to put these back in here, and I'm going to plant this one. This is the one with the, they took off the other one that had the super speckled leaves. I just love that. And as I said, this was a 50-cent pack of seeds that I just started. I started them indoors. I have lights, grow lights, but you could do it in a very bright windowsill. It will work as long as it's getting enough light and warmth that they will germinate, and then you can get a head start on them. I probably could have started them later out in my unheated greenhouse, which basically is a glorified cold frame, but it also does very well for that. So I'm just going to strip off that leaf. So here's another one to go in my other container over here. I don't know if you can see that, but this container like this. And to my right, I have a bench. I will swing you over there. You can see some that are that is an actual granite ware container. And how I just set them in there and they just grow. Now these are also, some of them are in small pots. Let me scoot back. Let me put that in the water because I want more of that one. But like this one, look at that thing. How big that is, and it's in a small 4-inch pot. So this one will get pruned back. It will flush out more and get a little bulkier. And there's actually 2 in this little pot, and you see how well it's doing. But this spot gets almost constant shade. Sometimes the sun comes through, not sometimes, towards the evening. The sun does shine directly on them through the crack underneath our little pergola tent here. And here's some more. These ones I just started maybe a week ago, just to show you how quickly they do root. Let's see, is this one? Oh, yep, it's got a tiny, tiny root. Let me see if you can see that. Let me see if the camera will focus on it really quick. It's got a tiny root. It may not have focused, I'm sorry if it didn't, but it's got a little white root already, and that's just, I just did these not too long ago. So I will show you, I'll get my nippers, bring one of the plants down here and show you how I take the cutting, just in case. I mean, it's super easy, you may already know, but it is helpful for some people to see me actually doing it. So let me go grab my nippers. So I wanted to get you up close and personal with this one. So you hear a bunch of leaves right around here. Here's the leaf node. Now I'm going to cut right beneath, can you see that? Right beneath that leaf node. So this one's pretty tall. So I probably could get 2 cuttings out of it. So I'll do the same up here, cut it right below a leaf node. Then I take the leaves off, snip them off, pretty easy. Both of these will root. I can cut this back shorter where it comes down where it just looks like those. That's the top instead of a big stem. And these will develop roots. So I'm going to put it in this jar of water. I need to get another jar because I've got a bunch of these to do. And I don't mind. I've got the potting soil. I've got space over here on the bench. I told you I was going to show you over there. And I can just fill this. I love the foliage, all the foliage here in the shady spot. And it just, with the colors, it just to me is just so inviting and refreshing. So this thing's getting root bound, and I could pot this up into a bigger container, and I just might. We'll see. Since it has 2 in it, I just might pop that up into like a gallon-sized tub. So let me take you over so you can view the side. What's going on over there? I have a Japanese maple I need to get into a bigger pot, but you can see my little granite ware container that I have more Coleus in, and I got another one of the orange ones. And I do have a little. This is one of my ivy geraniums I started from seed. Isn't that pretty? Sitting in there, but I could fill that where the Japanese maple is sitting. I can put this white, sorry for the deck creaking, I can put this white container with more Coleus in it, and you can see how I carry the color from behind the chairs all the way around and just have a uniform. And I could even put up a shelf. That would be kind of fun, a shelf to have more on if I wanted, or something that would drape down, like wire vine or something for my back deck decor. So that is, whoops. That's not it. Is this it? Yeah. Is it getting hot? Yeah, it's getting hot. All right, we'll just leave it right there. So that, my friends, is my Coleus success for this year. Now, my next video, I think I'm going to go take you around the garden, and I'm going to share with you my garden successes and my messes, so that you can see that even though I have really succeeded in areas, there's other areas that I never got to and or are a complete mess. But you know what, even though we're into August, it doesn't matter. I have next year, and I just enjoy what is going well, going and growing well. Another thing of note in Coleus care is nip out the seeds. Now, if this was later in the season, maybe I would let some go to seed and actually try to start my own from seed, but to keep them pretty and performing, I just nip off the little tip with the seeds, a little seed bud on it, and then they continue on. Now, when you're taking cuttings like I was, and let me zip down, to show you where I would take a cutting on this one, I would go down to, oh, you can't see it, let me just scoot you down a little more. I would come down to this spot down here, and I'd cut just below that. So that would cut that seed off too. So if I was going to take, I wanted this to stay taller right now and not cut it back. So that is why I just nipped the little seed bud out of it instead. Back here's that one I was showing you earlier with the speckles, the pretty little speckles on the dark leaves. I just love that. So I took some extra cuttings of that one. So let me see this one right here. So that's all good, all good. And I had loved these ones with the little bit of watermelon pink in there with the green. I just love that. So I just wanted to share the abundant beauty you can get from a dollar packet of seeds. Now, of course, you have to factor in the cost of your potting soil and whatever, but when I'm starting seeds, I'm doing a lot of things, so it's covered over. So let's say $2 by the time you got done starting those. Now, and I'll link it in the description box below, in the spring, early spring, late winter, I show you how I use recycled containers to start seedlings in. So you don't even have to have expensive little pots or anything like that to get started if that's what you want to do on a very tight budget. It's just very doable. And I've had success across the board with many dollar store seeds like zinnias and petunias and all those other things. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get abundant beauty in your garden. So I will see you in my next video, and if you like this, please give it a thumbs up and or share with your friends. And if you really like my content, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification, and then you will know whenever I put up a new video for you.